I'm Marcus Garcia Norris. I'm the ACA Regional Activity Council State Director for Illinois, and we're here in Canoecopia 2025. I bumped into you in these brilliant
Yes.
kayaks. I thought I'll ask you a few questions.
Sure, thank you.
So, people in Illinois are looking to, you know, learn technique, practice. They see the ACA. So, what can you tell us about the ACA? Because you don't live in Illinois, but somehow you're one of our sources.
Well, so thank you, Marcos. First of all, thank you for taking on the role of the ACA director. You've done great things already in just a short period of time, and I know you've got great plans for the state of Illinois. I lived in Illinois for 26 years,
Yeah.
and so while I'm no longer a resident of Illinois, the place where I got my start as a paddler is always going to have a soft spot in my heart. It's where I got my start. It's where my daughter and grandkids live, so we get out here often.
Excellent.
But yeah.
So, how are you going to keep training the Illinois paddlers? We need more training.
Yes, absolutely. So most of the training that I do now is instructor certification. So I'm a level 3 coastal instructor and a level 2 instructor trainer, and then also a level 2 river kayak instructor and a level 2 stand-up paddleboard instructor. But most of what I do now is instructor certification and instructor update and that sort of programming. So I do have, I think, 3 or 4 instructor certification programs that we're running in the state of Illinois this year, and I've got an instructor update for L2 and L1 instructors. And then I've got a skills program that we're doing with the Potawatomi paddlers down in Manteno, and then certainly I'll get back from time to time again, and we'll put something else on the schedule.
Excellent. I imagine all this is on the internet, so you can find your information there.
Absolutely, all on the internet at one of my websites, paddlingexercises.com.
Excellent. Good. Well, I did my L2 where you teach some of your classes with our colleagues in Urban Kayaks there in Chicago.
Yeah.
What a magnificent place to...
Yes, absolutely. Illinois is such a unique place to paddle, and anybody who says the city of Chicago isn't a beautiful city has not looked at it from the right direction. And Daniel Burnham was an absolute master genius of planning, and when he decided to lay out the city and to dedicate the waterfront to the people, and that still stands today, it's just beautiful. So to be able to teach a class right down in Monroe Harbor when you've got the beautiful water there, and then you've got the city skyline as your backdrop, it just doesn't get much better than that. I mean, I enjoy a good wilderness paddle, but there's just something magical about paddling in Chicago.
That's beautiful. I'll share with you, when I did my ICE with Sam Crawley at the time, there was a Taylor Swift concert going on, and we had hundreds of thousands of Swifties walking around while we were self-rescuing, which was quite an entertainment.
I'll bet.
But we're trying to convince more people to learn about the ACA, join ACA, because there's so much more than just the lessons. There's a lot of stuff that goes behind.
Yes.
But if there's paddlers that don't enjoy the ACA and not part of it, what would you recommend them doing this summer? If they're beginners or intermediate, what sort of things can they do?
Sure. So I would say the first thing, this is going to sound a little cliche, I guess, but always wear your PFD. Never go out without your PFD. And I know that's not necessarily something that you do to develop your skills, but it's something you do to make sure we come back. We've all got an obligation to come back safe and sound to our families. So always wear your PFD. That's the first piece of advice I'm going to give. The second thing I would say is if you're not going to really focus on program classes and that sort of thing, connect with other paddlers.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of great clubs in Illinois. I mean, Prairie State Canoeist being one of those up here in the Chicago area that just really do wonderful things, and they've got a great program. And paddling is always more fun when you've got others to be able to enjoy the experience with. So I'd say connect with other paddlers. Paddlers are good people. They want to share what they know, and they want to make you a better paddler.
And in the ACA webpage, we're putting all the events and all the information on clubs, so hopefully people can reach out and join one of those clubs.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things I always take with my kayak is this wonderful book. You might have seen it. Have you? Oh, it's actually you, isn't it? So I brought this because I actually started using your book. I've always been into sort of physical fitness and to help me with my kayaking, but I needed something more structured. So I started using this last November, and I've actually stuck to it because I like how it's divided into different areas. So tell us something about the physical fitness kayaking and what you do in those areas.
So I'm a certified personal trainer through the National Academy of Sports Medicine, and as a paddler, actually I came here one year and I saw a lot of folks really passionate about the sport, but in many cases unprepared for the sport. And so that kind of inspired me to put the book together. And when I wrote the book, I wrote it with the intention of giving people an opportunity to learn how to create their own workout program as opposed to a pre-formatted program. And I guess three things that I can mention in terms of fitness. One, all movement begins at the core.
Yeah.
Everything begins at our core. And so if we develop a nice, strong, stable core, we're going to be a lot happier as paddlers. The second is it's not about how much weight you can move, but it's about how you move.
Right.
And it's about making sure that we are mobile and that we can move properly in our kayaks, and we move properly when we're on land as well. If we need to really perfect that movement, then we can go ahead and start adding weight to it. And then the third piece I would say, and that's something you see kind of throughout the book, is that paddling is a whole body exercise. And if we develop a workout program that really focuses on the entire body, it's not just what happens above the deck, it's what happens below the deck as well. That's really important. So,
excellent. Good stuff. Well, you'll have to sign this later.
I'll be happy to.
Just so I can sell it on. But one last question. So, I mean, you're in Illinois a lot, but you're busy when you go to Illinois. So if you had one free day that you can paddle anywhere in Illinois, where would you paddle?
I'm going to go back to the lakefront, I think. There's so many unique places along the Chicago lakefront. There's so many unique places in Illinois in general, but the lakefront just holds that special place for me. Surfing at 63rd Street Beach on a nice windy day is just magic. I already mentioned right downtown Monroe Harbor, but I think if I had one trip that I would take, I'd probably put in on the Chicago River, be able to paddle through the canyons, go out through the locks, and then so get kind of the experience of both being in the loop, but then getting out of the locks, going down the waterfront, maybe taking out at 12th Street Beach or 31st Street, something like that.
I'll be waiting for that one. Call me up for that. So, John, where can people contact you? And
yeah, so a couple of different places. One, I'm the producer and the host of the Paddling the Blue podcast.
Okay.
So I get the opportunity to interview paddlers from around the world doing great things from the seat of a boat. So I've had the chance to talk to paddlers on every continent about paddling on every continent. And you can find that anywhere you find your favorite podcast or paddlingtheblue.com. And then all my trips and the book and other information can be found on paddlingexercises.com.
Excellent. Well, John, it's been a pleasure talking to you.
Marcos,
Should we roll?
Let's